Karen Reed. But now Michael Proctor is back in the spotlight himself. I don't know if he just thought by him saying, hey guys, I give up. I don't want my job back. Never mind. It was going to solve everything. We know that 13 years worth of his text messages were found on an iCloud. This guy is going to be screwed in so many ways. It's not even funny. But we talked about, and the biggest thing we talked about is how Michael Proctor's text messages and how he conducted himself in the Karen Reed investigation and other investigations was going to affect people who were serving jail time, who had been locked up, who had been indicted, and Michael Proctor was heavily involved in. So we're going to get into a case and specifically talk about the Miles King case, if you haven't heard about that, and find out how Michael Proctor may literally be ruining this case. Let's get into it. Shout out to Amy for posting this on X. She says, and make sure you go follow her if you haven't yet, at IAMYLEIGH over on X. That's at IAmyLee on X. She says, defense attorneys from across Norfolk County has less than 24 hours to get access to the documents related to how disgraced former Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor investigated the Karen Reed case that were scheduled to be destroyed today. So let's see what the judge has to say about this and do a little bit of rewind. And I want to remind you guys of how we got here. Check this out from Boston.
25 Investigates is learning more about what's on ex-State Trooper Michael Proctor's cell phone. Investigative reporter Ted Daniel is joining us now live. Ted, you obtained an interesting court filing late this afternoon.
Yeah, Rachel, we told you earlier this week that Proctor dropped his appeal to get his job back with state police after thousands of new items were found on his personal cell phone, including text chats, audio files, pictures, and video. We're getting a little more information about that now. Some details are contained in a new court filing from the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. The filing says Proctor's phone contains sensitive images of intimate body parts of people not on the text chain. Screenshots of Facebook posts, phone numbers, and emails of all the people Proctor communicated with, and the name of a sexual assault victim. The Norfolk DA's office is asking a judge to restrict the public release of those items and a lot of other sensitive data from Proctor's phone. The DA's office continues to review an extraction of that phone. A judge has ordered prosecutors to share any data that is considered favorable to defendants in several cases Proctor investigated. The filing does not say if the intimate body part images are connected to a case Proctor work or images shared among friends. The DA's office says it will allow a judge to privately determine what items are relevant to other criminal cases before sharing them with defense attorneys. For 25 Investigates, I'm Ted Daniel.
Shout out to Ted. So that's how it started. Let's talk about how it's going, because it gets even crazier. We just found out from News 7 there in Boston that the judge ordered the feds to preserve Proctor investigation material to be used in future cases. Whew. This is so bad. This is so bad, because if this is the judge's order, that means a lot of what they're finding from the data, or a lot of what the judge observed from this investigation into Proctor, is pertinent to not only future cases, we're going to talk about Miles King, but maybe even past cases as well. So what do they have to say about this? And I'm actually going to play the video and let y'all hear it from Boston News 7. Oh, maybe not. They don't want to do it. They don't want to play it. Come on, Boston News 7. If not, I can just read it for you. I think I can read okay. We'll let the commercial play. So what did they say? Defense attorneys across from Norfolk County had less than 24 hours to get access to the documents related to how disgraced former Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor's investigation into Karen Reed case that were scheduled to be destroyed tomorrow. Several attorneys met at Norfolk Superior Court Thursday after they said they believe Proctor's phone, notes, and audio tapes could help them better defend their clients. That is exactly what we're talking about. And this is going to lead us into talking about Miles King. Because if Proctor says if he has another instance of saying, put it on the girl, this guy's going to end up in jail, man. It's looking like Proctor is not only is his career over, but 13 years of text messages. Now it's saying that, hey, we want to see those text messages because it might apply to our client. This is Michael Proctor's worst nightmare. It will be helpful to our case because it will show us the manner and mannerisms which some of the investigations into the Karen Reed case were done. And that's helpful to us because we can compare and contrast that to the way he investigated in our cases, says Rosemary S., a defense attorney representing a murder suspect who was investigated by Michael Proctor. Proctor was the lead investigator in the Karen Reed murder case. However, his credibility came into question when unprofessional texts on his phone were discovered. He has since lost his job and abandoned a Civil Service Commission appeal to try and get it back. I think it's going to be very difficult to have a sit down with my clients and go through these chats, go through these texts, go through these emails because they're very vulgar and they're very disturbing. Are we surprised? No. Right. So this attorney, what is her first name? Rosemary, we're going to call her. The Honorable Attorney Rosemary S. said she is confident in the material she received will help her client, a black man, dismiss. Why'd they throw that in there? Dismiss his case, alluding that Proctor had a bias. Okay, so Michael Proctor might have been racist and he might get exposed. That's what I'm hearing. Without a doubt, is exactly what we thought it was. She told 7 News outside the court on Thursday. If you've already prejudiced to the people because of the color of their skin, their ethnicity, if they're male or female, then you can't have an open mind when you started this investigation. The defense attorney for Brian Walsh, y'all know about Brian Walsh, the man accused of murdering and dismembering his wife in January of 2023, also pleaded with the judge to not destroy the documents. He said he wanted more information on Proctor's investigative techniques. A judge eventually ordered the federal government to preserve that material. Again, Michael Proctor's worst nightmare. He is completely destroying the Massachusetts justice system single-handedly. Let's check this out from News 7.
Disgraced former state trooper Michael Proctor is at the center of some legal battles. Local defense lawyers want materials about Proctor that are set to be destroyed. They say the information could impact some of their cases. 7's Kimberly Bookman has more.
Crazy.
With a deadline looming, a judge made a late-day decision preventing the destruction of documents.
Defense attorneys across Norfolk County had less than 24 hours to get their hands on documents related to how former Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor investigated the Karen Reed case.
It would be helpful to our case because it shows us the manner and the means in which some of the investigation in the Karen Reed case was done. And that's helpful to us because we can compare and contrast that to the way the investigations were done in our case.
Friday was the day federal officials planned to destroy materials related to Proctor. Defense attorneys like Rosemary Scapicchio represent people who were investigated by the disgraced former trooper. They've already viewed what was on Proctor's phone.
We know that a lot of the material you're seeing is top secret, but is it anything that you think is going to help your client and perhaps even dismiss your case?
Without a doubt. It's exactly what we thought it was.
Without going into detail, Scapicchio, who represents murder suspect Miles King, a black man, alludes to Proctor having a bias.
If you already have prejudged these people because of either the color of their skin, their ethnicity, whether they're male or female, then you can't have had an open mind when you started this investigation.
But defense attorneys worried there was more helpful information about to be destroyed. Brian Walsh is the Cohasset man accused of killing his wife around New Year's Day in 2023. His attorney pled with a judge to preserve all the documents, not destroy them, believing it could help his case.
This
With the
is
clock
so
ticking,
bad.
the judge agreed, allowing defense attorneys more time to comb through everything that could help their clients.
And more Proctor documents are expected to be released to defense attorneys on Friday. In Dedham, Kimberly Bookman, 7 News.
All right, shout out to Kimberly. So we're going to talk about Miles King, and we're going to get into a breakdown of that court proceeding here shortly. But I want to give you guys some insight into what happened with Miles King, because you may not even heard of him. And this is what's at stake when it comes to Michael Proctor's just misuse of the justice system, Michael Proctor's lack of professionalism, and what could be at stake here. Check this out from Michael Morrissey. Yeah, I know. And this was a press release where he's talking about Miles King. So here's what happened. A man indicted for murder, a woman for accessory in July's shooting. Check this out. A Norfolk County grand jury had indicted and has indicted Miles King, 21 of Milton, for the July 10th, 2021 murder of Marquise Simmons. A woman reported to be in a relationship with King hasn't been indicted as an accessory after the fact of the murder, according to the Norfolk District Attorney Michael Morrissey. King was arrested the day after the murder following an investigation by Milton Police and Massachusetts state detectives assigned to the Norfolk District Attorney's Michael Morrissey's office. He entered a plea of not guilty at his Quincy District Court arraignment following his arrest and was ordered to be held without bail. It says the indictment issued Friday moves the matter to Norfolk Superior Court, where it will be prosecuted by Assistant District Attorney Adam Lowley. Y'all, there's some familiar names here. District Attorney Morrissey said, Mr. King was indicted for first-degree murder, carrying a firearm without a license, carrying a loaded firearm without a license, and possession of a large capacity firearm. Mrs. Brianna Gardner has been indicted for accessory after the fact of murder. The Superior Court has not yet set an arraignment date. Gardner will be summoned to her arraignment. Marquise Simmons has traveled by moped to the Belvoir Road area of Milton just around 6 p.m. on July 10th and dismounted that vehicle. He was shot a few yards from where he parked. He was rushed to Boston Medical Center, but did not survive. King is represented by defense attorney Rosemary S., as we've heard from her before. All defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So here is what's at stake here. What's at stake is a case like this, where a man allegedly shot and killed another dude in cold blood. Is he innocent? Is he guilty? As y'all know here, we believe innocent until proven guilty. But if there is something in this case that Michael Proctor was involved in, he could be ruining essentially this entire case and tainting this entire case. And that may favor well for Miles King. What do y'all think is going to happen moving forward? This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Michael Proctor and the ramifications of his just overall negligence. I want to know what y'all think is going to happen moving forward in the comments in the chat.